We're starting a new adventure by checking out APWA. Checked out my first episode yesterday, and here's my review, man. Hit my music. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Simon Says Wrestling. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for guys for showing up to the channel. And just before we get started, obviously, I'm just gonna request those likes, comments, subscriptions, hit the notification bell so you guys can get the notifications once we drop new videos on the channel. So I've embarked on a new wrestling journey, and I haven't been this excited about anything in a while. Recently, well, not recently. I think I found out about this promotion. I think it was late last year. The promotion's name is APWA. They have a YouTube channel. They have a TikTok page. Guys can go out and then check it out if you want to find out the latest news feeds, and basically with new episodes airing. I think it's Saturday, because the episode that I watched said 3 days ago, and then yesterday, yeah, so it's every Saturday. Episode should be dropping down every Saturday on the YouTube channel. They officially kicked off season 8, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching a different wrestling production, proudly brought to you by South Africa, proudly South African. And yeah, man, it was quite the roller coaster watching it. The episodes go up for about an hour. For about an hour. Obviously, the show got kicked off by, I think he's playing the manager of the production. His name is Weiss. Weiss. I don't know what his gimmick is. I don't know what the story is. I haven't really watched the previous episodes that have taken place on this one. So I'm gonna go deeper um, every weekend just to maybe watch the previous episodes to get a sense of what's actually going on APWA. But it seems like he has a gimmick where when he puts on his beanie, it gets really serious. And when he takes off his beanie, something else happens. I don't know. It looks like that's his gimmick. The one thing I enjoyed about him starting off the show was they were basically running a tournament for the inaugural tag team championships on the show. So they're basically gonna be crowning the first ever APWA tag team champions. That's the sense I got from it. While he was explaining that, was basically explaining the fact that if you do win a match, you get 3 points, which kind of hit close to home. Obviously, it's done universally, but with the PSL, kind of gave me that, PSL vibe system where if you, what is this? If you win, you get 3 points. If the match ends before, I think every match is 20 minutes. It has a 20-minute time limit, and after that, if the match ends before the 20-minute, after the 20-minute time limit, you only get 1 point. During him explaining this, he literally said you get 3 points, and then if the timer runs out, you get 1 point. And he had two fingers up. I don't know. I just laughed. I just fell on the floor and started laughing. I'm like, what's going on? But I enjoyed his presentation. I enjoyed how the show got kicked off, basically outlining what the season would be all about. It's very refreshing to see a wrestling show that actually sticks to making something relevant and letting you know the importance of having this thing. It's always great to know that, all right, for this season, these guys are focusing on being the first tag team champions of the company. I think it's fairly still a quite small company, so it's not going to have a lot of characters. Maybe some might be repeated. Maybe people might be participating in singles match but still being a tag team match. I think that's what's happening in the whole promotion. But I love the fact that throughout the show, the theme of the show was the inaugural first ever tag team champions of the company. Every wrestler that came on the screen made it very evident, obviously with playing promos here and there, explaining themselves, what their role or what the ambitions are for the show. But everyone made it very adamant that they wanted to be in the inaugural tournament to win the titles. The first team that I was introduced to was Top Deck. Now, I don't, I don't know how to feel about that name. I do not know the history between the gents, but it seemed like either one of them were basically participating in a feud of their own, and now they're coming together to go after the tag team championships. Like I said, it's not a big roster, so obviously we are going to have singles competitors going after different titles. I'll just see as the show goes what the stories were with these gentlemen. First team I'm introduced to is Top Deck. The second team is called the Birds. We need to have a conversation about the names or whoever whoever is naming this. But I guess it's refreshing to actually see a name and actually have a reaction to it. So I thoroughly, after laughing, I thoroughly went like, oh, I actually reacted to something that's on the screen. I haven't done that in a while. And yeah, man, it was a great positive experience. They had a promo battle with each other, basically stating the history, what they wanted to do going forward. And after that, it was said that they were going to compete in a tag team match. The Birds versus Top Deck for the first match in the inaugural tournament. After that, I think Vusi made his return to the company. Huge shout out to Vusi Strawhead. If you get a chance, just go onto Twitter, search these guys. They're very easy to find. Follow them, support the culture, hit the likes on the page, comment, interactions, and if we can as South Africans, let's go attend the show. Let's go attend these shows and make sure they're sold out. And these guys, because literally they're putting their bodies on the line. As Vusim basically made it very clear that he had just came back from injury. I think he had messed up one of his ribs in one of the matches. And he was basically giving a promo which stated the fact that he had lost his path. And I think it was now time for him to go back onto that path and reclaim, I don't know, the representation of his symbol. I think the symbol that he wears on his costume stands for something, and he wants to go back to being that person. So a huge shout out to Vusi. Cool guy. Spoken to him. I'm looking forward to meeting him. Maybe when I do go to the live events. If you guys are interested in attending these live events, maybe interested in doing interviews or showing up to the live events, let's watch more of the product, find out more about it. And if they avail themselves, dude, we go there, we support the culture, and we grow it. After being introduced to Vusi, I think that's when, well, obviously I was introduced to Vusi on social media. I just didn't know the character that he was portraying on TV. And yeah, man, it's Vusi. It's Vusi. The first match took place. Dude, there's some decent wrestling. Nah, like, it's not even decent wrestling. It's actually spectacular wrestling between Top Deck and the Birds. It was just a show of, great talent and the amount of technical wrestlers that we do have in South Africa. It's looking great, man. It's looking great. I won't even lie to you. I just enjoyed the fact that they were throwing wrestling moves. And it got a bit weird in between the match, where one of the gents on Top Deck was basically throwing ad-libs during the match, and they had to restart the hot tag, I think, about 3 times. I don't know if that's part of the show, but that kind of freaked me out. I was like, okay, what's going on? Was this not communicated before? Do you guys maybe have a communication breakdown? But I loved the fact that one of the commentators stepped in to say, oh, this guy doesn't want to be tagged in this position because now it's going to make him look good. I didn't understand the whole back and forth of what was going on. I think they had to make the tag 3 times. I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? But yeah, that match ended in a draw. I didn't like the fact that the first match ended in a draw. I think if you're gonna start off any sort of tournament, you need to have somebody that's leading the way, either to build up anticipation to them winning the tournament or basically ending the tournament on a loss or not even making it through to the whole tournament. Um, Before we even got to that, it was a draw. Top Deck and the Birds. The Birds, they were the ones that kicked off the tournament, obviously ending in a draw, each getting a point. Before I even went to that, there was a group that actually interrupted Whis. That's now this seems like this is the main heel faction on the team. They've recently added group members to it and recently excommunicated group members. That's what I got from the promo which they gave. Um, yeah, man. It's like I'm not laughing because I didn't. I literally I'm reacting because I felt that love of wrestling once again. Like I felt pure joy. I was like, oh, I'm actually looking forward to watching more of this so I can understand what's going on. So hopefully it'll get better as it goes by. The group introduced themselves, letting them know that we have two new members in the group. This is what we're planning to do. This is how we're planning to do it. Um, After that, later in the night, you get to see them one by one. Obviously, there is the powerhouse, who I think is Dex. Yeah, Dex seems to be the powerhouse of the group. There's a champion. I don't know who the tall white guy is. Sorry, guys, I haven't known their names as of yet. So as obviously as episodes go by, I'll get to know their names and then I'll. So it's the white gentleman with the title, and there was another guy in the background who was more like an arrow who wasn't basically being acknowledged by any of the group members. And there's a guy that looks like Maps Maponyani. Guys, I promise I'll get your names right. I'll as time goes by after this Saturday, I'll know everybody's name. The main heel faction on the group put on a banger match later during the night. I can understand why they might be considered to be the top guys because the in-ring work, as a lot, like watching the show, watching the few matches that they had put on, I enjoyed the wrestling that took place. I enjoyed the fact that there's a serious focus on one topic for that episode, and we're gonna get to it. Um, Another person who caught my attention, because obviously I'm new to the show, was a gentleman who came down to the ring and basically said he was in a group wearing a mask, was a hired gun, and he was hired to take out, I think, one of the members of the main heel faction. On it's the new way. Is it the new way or the new age? That's the name of the group. Was and Dex came out, confronted him, wanted to find out who attacked him and who hired him to get attacked by this masked man who's now obviously unveiled and is ready to go, has basically went out of the group and is ready to go at it alone to basically make a name for himself. um the other thing that I picked up from the show, because there was a lot of focus on the main heel faction group, basically with their plans, the main tournament, the tag team championships. Vusi also had another segment where a kid was robbed. They said he took his bag, but he still had his bag in his. He still had a bag in his hands, and I think whoever is robbing these fans is a wrestler. So there's one wrestler on APWA who's so pissed off and either not being supported by the fans that he decided, you know what, I'm just gonna rob all of them. I don't care. Vusi basically described him as a masked man wearing a blue mask going around robbing fans. I don't know who this guy is, but the way Vusi has already set him up, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. We'll see who it is. It's probably someone on the roster with a blue mask, and that could be our vigilantes going around beating up fans and robbing them. It's gonna make it very difficult for a lot of people to boo that man. You boo him, one mistake, Brown Street, my man. We taking everything. We taking you to hell, bro. We robbing you next to a container in the bush. We don't care. Yeah. So I think the role that Vusi is playing in this one is basically, how can I put it? You know how there is pure wrestling. There's pure wrestling where it's two competitors who have a great track record of wrestling history, have gone to different companies, are great technical in-ring workers, and will give you a great wrestling match that will translate the story. Then you have the supernatural, which you have like your Undertakers, your Bray Wyatts, your Kane, your Wyatt Six, basically supernatural elements that require you to have some sort of mental fortitude or have some sort of, it's almost comic how they set it up, not in a bad way. And it's almost comic to say there has to be a villain and there has to be a superhero. So I think Vusi's playing that role of the comic superhero that might be going in and in between versus being a villain and a good guy. And I think this is basically his good guy era, and he's just gonna make it his mission to find this masked man who's going around robbing fans. The other thing that I really enjoyed, there was a team called the Springbokker. I think this is Springbokker. I literally thought they were gonna be rugby players. I don't know why. I just heard the name and I went rugby. They have to have some sort of history of rugby. They must have played rugby somewhere. You know how always in international brands where they say he used to be a football player, a linebacker, like people with Goldberg. Goldberg has a huge history in football. Basically, his career ended because of an injury. So I was hoping to hear something like that. Like these guys were actually in a rugby team. Unfortunately, their careers were cut short because of a rugby injury, which basically sidelined them, and now they're in the WWE using that rugby knowledge to go into the sport. Um, these are veterans. These are two veterans. Um, in South Africa, would call them UOM. These are two UOMs. They look like they love to have a party. They love to jol. They even had a segment that was in Afrikaans. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And man, I don't know. For the first episode, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. Being the fact that there were a lot of factors that I'm new to, but I do not want to criticize until I've actually gotten used to the product. I'm not used to wrestlers basically speaking over commentators. I'm not used to that. So with them, you can actually hear wrestlers speak while commentators are still trying to commentate the match. For me, that was a bit weird. Um, there are promos. The promos, they are shooting them off of the head. They're shooting them off of the head. No one is revising the promos. No one is doing anything. They're just shooting them from the head, and in that moment is when they feed off of it, to say in a sense. Sometimes they tend to repeat the same thing over and over again. I've noticed this from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. The other thing is, as much as kayfabe is there in 2026, I can see that these guys actually like each other. I can actually see these guys partying together, chilling together around the table, and basically having the best night of their lives. They are friends. You can actually see that. You can see that between Top Deck when they were in a promo with the Birds. You can see it with Dex when he was in the ring with this other competitor that tried to come in to help the gentleman who said he had been coming out of the group, out of the mask, to go on into business for himself. You can actually see that these guys are friends. They chill together. If we can find a way to separate all of that, my man, we're gonna have a great show. It's an awesome show. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed thoroughly that hour that I watched that whole show. I literally enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I was laughing. I was like, I was grabbing my wife and I was telling her, I found a new wrestling production. It's something to look forward to. And she was like, yeah, at least now you won't be complaining about the other one as much as you normally do. But I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of seeing new wrestlers, great wrestlers in the ring. In the ring, you can't touch these guys. These guys are flipping phenomenal. And it looks like it's going to be a great season 8. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in this journey as I go through season 8 of APWA. Let me know if you guys want to see videos of me watching old matches, old story feuds. If you want to catch me up, let me know, guys. Comment in the comment section. I'm more than happy to reply to any comment. Thank you all so much for the love. Thank you all so much for the support. Go check it out. APWA every Saturday, dropping on YouTube. You can go to my social media pages. I'll drop the trailer to this video. Guys, go check it out. Support local wrestling, South African pro wrestling. Wow, it's such an awesome journey to be. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited about going into this journey as much as I was excited about starting this channel. So thank you all so much for the love. Thank you all so much for the support. And we've got more wrestling to cover. What more could we ask for? As always, Simon says, peace.